Somewhere in the dark reaches of our solar system drifts a world so immense that even planets fear its gravity. Jupiter does not simply orbit the Sun, it dominates the space around it, a colossal sphere of storms, lightning, and pressures no human mind has truly experienced. From a distance, it appears almost calm, wrapped in beautiful bands of swirling clouds. Yet beneath that colorful surface lies a descent few objects could ever survive. Tonight, the journey begins by approaching this giant slowly, layer by layer, following the path anything would take if it were drawn too close. The clouds will open, the storms will grow louder, and the pressure will rise beyond imagination. What waits deeper inside Jupiter remains one of the solar system's greatest mysteries. And as the descent begins, a single question quietly emerges. How far could anything actually fall into the largest planet ever formed around our Sun? From far beyond the orbit of Mars, a colossal shape slowly begins to emerge from the darkness of space. At first it appears like a distant striped sphere suspended against a field of stars. But as the view draws closer, Jupiter reveals itself in astonishing detail. Vast bands of amber, cream, and rust-colored clouds wrap around the planet like immense atmospheric rivers, each one moving with quiet but relentless power. Between them, storms churn endlessly, some large enough to swallow entire planets. And there, turning slowly across the giant world's surface, lies the most famous scar in the solar system, the Great Red Spot. For centuries, it has raged without rest, a storm wider than Earth itself. Seen from space, Jupiter does not feel like a planet. It feels like a living world of motion and turbulence, a giant that has been stirring in the darkness of our solar system for billions of years. From orbit, the clouds of Jupiter may appear soft and almost peaceful, but the moment the descent begins, the illusion quickly fades. The upper atmosphere is not a gentle layer, but a restless frontier of violent winds and drifting ammonia crystals. High above the visible clouds, the air is bitterly cold, colder than most places in the solar system, yet the environment is already alive with motion. Jet streams race around the planet at speeds far beyond anything experienced on Earth, pulling enormous cloud systems across the horizon. The colorful bands seen from space begin to dissolve into towering formations of vapor and turbulence. Lightning flickers deep within distant storm towers, illuminating the clouds from within like brief flashes of hidden energy. What once looked beautiful from afar now feels immense and unpredictable, as if the planet itself is warning that the journey downward has only just begun. At first, you might think the clouds below Jupiter look calm from orbit, smooth bands of color slowly wrapping around the giant planet. But the moment you begin falling toward them, the illusion quickly disappears. As gravity pulls you downward, the upper atmosphere rushes toward you faster and faster. The first thing you notice is the wind. It roars past you at hundreds of kilometers per hour, powerful jet streams racing across the planet and dragging enormous cloud systems along with them. Around you, pale clouds of ammonia crystals drift through the air, glowing softly in the distant sunlight above. Now the sky behind you begins to fade as the deeper clouds swallow the view of space. Lightning flickers somewhere far below, briefly illuminating towering storm structures hidden within the atmosphere. And as you continue descending, one thing becomes clear. This planet is far more violent than it looked from above. Now that you are deeper inside Jupiter's atmosphere, the true scale of its weather begins to reveal itself. What once looked like simple cloud bands from space are actually enormous storm systems stretching thousands of kilometers across the planet. Around you, vast walls of gas rise and twist through the atmosphere like giant moving mountains. Winds continue tearing through the clouds at incredible speeds, pulling entire storm systems into massive spirals. You might notice sudden flashes of light around you, Jupiter's lightning storms. These are not like the storms on Earth. Some of these lightning bolts release 10 times more energy than the strongest storms on our planet. If you could look across the horizon, you would see storm vortices so large they could swallow Earth itself. Somewhere far above, the Great Red Spot continues raging, a storm that has lasted for centuries. And you are still only in the upper layers of this giant world. But the deeper you fall, the storms are no longer the greatest danger. The real threat is something you cannot even see. Pressure. At first, you might not notice it, but with every kilometer you descend, the weight of Jupiter's atmosphere above you grows heavier. Now the air around you begins to feel thicker, almost like falling through a dense ocean rather than a gas. The temperature starts rising rapidly as well, transforming the once freezing atmosphere into an increasingly hostile environment. You might think the planet would eventually reveal a solid surface below, but Jupiter has none. Instead, the atmosphere simply grows denser and denser the deeper you go. Around you, the crushing force of pressure continues building with relentless strength. Even the strongest spacecraft ever built would begin struggling here. Metal would bend, structures would collapse, and you are still only partway into Jupiter's enormous atmosphere. As you continue falling deeper into Jupiter, the atmosphere around you begins changing in ways that feel almost impossible. The gas no longer behaves like ordinary air. Instead, it grows thicker, heavier, almost fluid. You might begin to notice that the hydrogen around you is compressing under unimaginable pressure. Here, the rules of everyday physics begin to shift. The deeper you descend, the more the atmosphere resembles a vast ocean rather than a sky. Winds still move through this immense layer, but the environment now feels dense and overwhelming. Around you, hydrogen, the most common element in the universe, is being squeezed by pressures millions of times stronger than those on Earth. You might think you are still falling through gas, but in reality, the boundary between gas and liquid has almost disappeared. Jupiter is slowly transforming the atmosphere into something far stranger than a normal planetary sky. Now the descent enters one of the most extraordinary regions in the entire solar system. Under the crushing weight of Jupiter's immense gravity, hydrogen begins transforming into something scientists once thought impossible: liquid metal. Around you, the hydrogen is no longer just a compressed fluid. It behaves like an ocean of shining metallic matter. Electrons move freely through this strange liquid, allowing it to conduct electricity like a metal wire. You might imagine darkness here, yet powerful currents move through this ocean, generating the enormous magnetic field that surrounds Jupiter. If you could see the environment around you, it would feel like drifting through an alien metallic sea created by pressure alone. No human has ever witnessed this layer directly, yet physics tells us it must exist. And as you continue descending through this metallic ocean, the mysteries of Jupiter only grow deeper. Even after passing through layers of storms, crushing pressure, and metallic hydrogen, the journey is still not over. Far below you lies the region scientists believe may hide Jupiter's core. But even here, certainty disappears. disappears. You might expect a solid surface waiting beneath the immense atmosphere, yet Jupiter refuses to reveal such a boundary easily. Instead, the environment continues shifting gradually, the metallic ocean becoming even denser as temperatures climb to tens of thousands of degrees. Some models suggest a rocky or icy core buried deep within the planet. Others propose something far stranger, a diffuse, partially dissolved core mixed with the surrounding hydrogen. As you descend further into the giant planet, the idea of a clear surface becomes increasingly uncertain. Jupiter guards its deepest layers carefully, leaving scientists on Earth still debating what truly exists at its center. In 1995, a small human-made probe attempted a journey similar to the one imagined here. The Galileo probe plunged into Jupiter's atmosphere, sending data back to Earth as it descended. For nearly an hour, it transmitted measurements of wind speeds, temperature, and pressure while falling deeper into the giant planet. As you imagine continuing downward, you might realize that even this advanced spacecraft could not survive the full descent. Eventually, the pressure grew too intense, and communication with the probe was lost forever. Its instruments were crushed by the same forces you would now be facing. Yet during its brief journey, Galileo revealed something remarkable. Jupiter's atmosphere was even more complex and violent than scientists had expected. And despite that mission, most of the planet still remains unexplored. And now, somewhere deep inside Jupiter, the descent reaches a point no spacecraft, and certainly no human, has ever survived to witness. Above you lies a planet larger than all the others combined, still raging with storms and immense gravity. Around you, pressures and temperatures have reached levels that push matter into strange and unfamiliar states. You might have expected Jupiter to eventually reveal a clear surface or a simple structure. But instead, the giant planet remains layered with mysteries. Even today, scientists studying Jupiter from orbit with the Juno spacecraft are still trying to understand what truly lies inside it. The largest planet in our solar system has been observed for centuries, yet it continues to challenge everything we think we know about planetary worlds. And somewhere within its immense depths, Jupiter still keeps its greatest secrets hidden.